The Foolish Weaver. Once a weaver, who was in want of work, took service with a certain farmer as a shepherd. The farmer, knowing that the man was very slow-witted, gave him most careful instructions as to everything that he has to do. Finally he said, "If a wolf or any wild animal attempts to hurt the flock, you should pick up a big stone like this," and suiting the action in the word, "and throw a few such at him, and he will be afraid and go away." The weaver said that he understood, and started with the flocks to the hillsides, where they grazed all day. By chance, in the afternoon, a leopard appeared, and the weaver instantly ran home as fast as he could to get the stones the farmer had shown him to throw at the creature. When he came back to the flock, it was all scattered or killed, and then the farmer heard this tale, he beat him soundly. "Were there no stones on the hillside that you should run back to get them, you senseless one?" he cried. "You are not fit to herd sheep. Today you shall stay home and mind my old mother who is sick. Perhaps you will be able to drive flies from her face if you can't drive beasts away from the sheep." So on the next day the weaver was left at home to take care of the farmer's sick old mother. Now, as she lay outside on a bed, it turned out that the flies became very troublesome, and the weaver looked around for something to drive them away with. And as he had been told to pick up the nearest stone to drive the beasts away from the flock, he thought he would this time show how cleverly he could obey rules. Accordingly, he seized the nearest stone, which was a big, heavy one, and dashed it at the flies. But, unhappily, he slew the poor old woman also, and then, being afraid of the wrath of the farmer, he fled and was not seen again in that neighborhood. All that day and all the next night he walked, and at length he came to a village where a great many weavers lived all together. "You're welcome," they said. "Eat and sleep, for tomorrow 6 of us will start in search of fresh wool to weave, and we pray you give us to your company." "Oh, willingly," answered the weaver. So the next morning the 7 weavers set out to go to the village where they could buy what they needed. On the way they had crossed the ravine, which lately had been full of water, but now was quite dry. The weavers, however, were accustomed to swim over this ravine, therefore, regardless of the fact that at this time it was dry, they stripped, and tying their clothes on their heads, they proceeded to swim across the dry sand and rocks that formed the bed of the ravine. Thus they got to the other side without further damage than bruised knees and elbows, and as soon as they were over, one of them began to count the party to make sure that all of them were safe. He counted all except himself, and then cried out that somebody was missing. This set each of them to counting, but each made the same mistake in counting all except himself, so that they became certain that one of the party was missing. They ran up and down the bank of the ravine, wringing their hands in great distress, looking for signs of the lost comrade. There a farmer found them and asked what was the matter. "Alas," said one, "7 of us started from the other bank, and one of us must have drowned on the crossing, as we can only find 6. The farmer eyed them for a moment, then, picking up his stick, dealt each one a sounding blow, counting as he did, 1, 2, 3, and so up until 7. When the weavers found that there were 7 of them, they were overcome with gratitude to one whom they took for a magician, as he thus could make even 7 out of an obvious 6.